Well, I want to get this video up rather quickly because you only have about 5 hours before the pre-sale ends. Doesn't mean you shouldn't invest in this coin. It just means that you have a really good opportunity right now to buy it before it's even listed on Uniswap. Now, I've covered this in my other channel and I've covered this a while back, but I do want to emphasize that this is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a lot of you. You're able to get in on a coin before it even gets listed. That's a huge deal. And I always talk to you guys about how you want to make sure that you're looking at altcoins as if they were companies. And this is the perfect example because it's what it is. It's an organization. Now, I know some people might be put off because of the type of coin or because of the type of business this is, because you might not understand it. Essentially, litigation is a really profitable endeavor. And a lot of people don't realize that whenever somebody goes to court and they have to drag out their process, you know, the process for like 1-2 years, they need somebody to bank them. But at the end of the day, when they get their payout, well, guess what? The investors, the people who bank them for that, that amount of time, they get the benefits and the returns are wonderful. I mean, you're talking about 50 to 200% roughly that you get on some of these litigations, and that's a lot. And usually it's, set aside for people that have a lot of money, people that can actually bank this. And this company is making a difference. It's making a change. Here's what they're doing. And I'll show you this here on screen. It's private equity for everyone. Usually private equity, you're dealing with people that have a lot of money and they can just afford to put $1 million here, $1 million there. But that doesn't have to be the case any longer, especially with, DeFi. Essentially, you're able to be part of something bigger than yourself by simply contributing with the rest of the community, which is just freaking awesome. I love the fact that they're able to do, something like this. Let me show you this. This is what they're doing. They have tokens. So they have Liti tokens, which are going to be shares, essentially. But they also have Liti tokens, which you don't have to disclose any of their information. You can just buy it as if it was any other token, as if it was Dogecoin or anything else, which is pretty awesome. And I do put my money where my mouth is, and I want to show you that you don't need a lot of money to do this. Look at this. I have 50,000 Liti tokens, and I bought this in one of my videos to show you that I do believe in what they're doing, and I do think that they're going to do a great thing in this space. And here's what it is essentially. You're crowdfunding litigation. But the next step is that you're not only crowdfunding litigation, you're also helping the DeFi, the blockchain environment by doing so, because these guys are going to give back to the community. And I have an interview here that I want to show to all of you, and I'm not going to go into all the details because I want you to hear from these guys. I want you to hear from David and Jonas. Jonas is the co-founder of the company. David is the executive director. They are doing great things. And I want to make sure that you all know that this is going to change the space. It's going to make a difference because people are going to think twice before scamming others, because they're going to be, people are going to look after us now. You're going to have people that, have deep pockets because of this DeFi movement, because we're all pitching in, because we're all coming together. People are going to think twice before scamming each other, which is awesome. And I want to, before I go into that, if you don't mind, if you hit that like button and you subscribe to this channel, it'll go a long way in getting this information to more people. But without further ado, let me introduce you to David and Jonas. These two are awesome, and I'm going to come back with them because they have been doing some great things. They are actually working on a case right now with Coach K, getting to the bottom of a $250,000 scam that he's been having to live with for quite a while. So they're doing wonderful things, but hear straight from them, and I want you to see how awesome this organization is. David and Jonas, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. It's really exciting to see a company that is really trying to do the right thing and trying not only to, break into the blockchain in a different way, but also support the community. This is huge. And if you wouldn't mind, if you can share just a little bit about why you guys are doing this and how it kind of got started.
Sure. So I'm David. So Jonas, I'll kick it off and then hand it over to you. So my background, I actually started my career as a lawyer, and then did that for a couple of years, and then was a banker at Jefferies. I think one of my first claims to fame is I was one of the last people hired at Bear Stearns. So I got hired by Bear Stearns, never started, watched it crashed. Yep. And I actually got my first apartment in New York because in order for us, people who kind of got hired but didn't start, to agree not to sue, we got to keep our sign-on bonus. So that was like, if I have nothing else at the end of the day, I have that. And then after doing banking for a little bit, I went to what at the time was a quarterly liquidity hedge fund, and helped found and build out a private equity practice that was solely based on litigation financing, right? And I did that for the better part of the decade. And since then, I've left there, reconnected with my family. I was traveling about 260 days a year. It was unbelievable. Fell in love with Jonas and the team. I mean, I didn't know that I would go back into this craziness. But for me, at least, what drew me to it is that, for me personally, my parents weren't allowed in my private equity fund, right? They didn't have over $1 million of liquidity, and therefore they're not accredited, and they couldn't be in my fund. My siblings, same thing, right? And DeFi and the DeFi community, and part of what we're doing here is that time is done. There is absolutely no reason why the 30 to 50% cash on cash annual returns, right, that this strategy generates should be for only people that have $1 million or more, right? Some of the stupidest people I know have more than $1 million, and some of the smartest people I know don't. And everybody is capable of making their own decision as to how to invest their money. And it is absolutely time to bring private equity and litigation finance to everybody. So that was a big part of it for me. But Jonas, jump in.
Well, thanks, David, for the intro. So my name is Jonas. I'm based out of Geneva, Switzerland. And in my career, as a private banker, like everybody in Switzerland, you have to, if you want to keep your passport at some point. But it was the most boring job I ever had in my entire life. So I quickly switched to private investigation and private intelligence. And as part of this, I started to investigate fraudster, people that embezzle a large amount of money, people that do a whole lot of illegal activities in the financial sectors. And over the last 10 years, I've probably, traced and had to recover close to $5 billion, over the years in 120 plus countries. So I know how to find the money that people want to hide to creditors. And about last year, I realized there was a huge wave of fraud originating from Singapore and from Dubai in the commodity sector. And I realized that most of the banks didn't really have the appetite to go after these fraudsters, whereas, they had clearly identifiable assets. They had money that was out there to go grab, if only we had a little bit of capital to get started. So that was the idea behind the creation of Liti Capital. Then we came across David, and it was an instant perfect match in the sense that we share the same vision, the same motivation, and he brings a whole lot of expertise to us that we didn't have before. So we're very happy with the synergies that we've developed since then. And the last couple of months have been absolutely insane. 4 hours per night of sleep.
Yep.
It's never ending, but it's I think it's for a good cause. And really the idea is that a lot of people are making a lot of money out of distressed asset, out of distressed debt, out of litigation. And it's about time that everybody can participate in this frenzy. Close to 60%, return on investment on average. It's unheard of, right? I mean, I have a savings account at a Swiss bank that gives me 0.1% now with, negative interest rate from the central bank. It's about time that people like you and me can get more for their money. And we're bringing that to the community. We're bringing that to the blockchain space, and we're bringing that to the DeFi space as well.
That's great. In the US right now, the average is 0.01%, I believe. Actually, it's 0.5% last time I checked, so it's barely anything. So you're losing money. They just announced inflation is at 5%, so you're losing 4.5% every single day. Your money's just sitting there. It's not a good thing. But it sounds like this is a match made in heaven. You got Jonas with the expertise of tracking people down and making sure that making sure that the criminals are going to pay. And David, you know how to fund this thing and how to source stuff out. This is great. I mean, it's a wonderful partnership to be found in the blockchain space. And when it comes to Liti Capital, I understand that you guys are more than just an organization that's going to be funded by the blockchain. You also want to be part of supporting the ecosystem, making sure that you are tracking down the people who are, the bad doers in the space that are bringing a bad name to this environment, which there is a ton of. And as many people know, my channel was taken down because I was covering one of these fraud scams that were going on live, and all of a sudden, oh, I'm down, but the people who are scamming, they stay up. So it's very frustrating. A lot of people have experienced. I personally lost money with Mt. Gox, and a lot of people don't want to admit that. Like, yeah, I've lost money. I've been doing, in the crypto space for over 10 years, and I totally understand how frustrating it can be. And it's good and refreshing to see that somebody's doing something about it. What can you're talking about how you don't need $1 million to get in it. What can the average Joe do to get involved with Liti Capital and support what you guys are doing?
It's a really great question. Look, I think one thing that I just want to, add on to what, look, number one thing here is both Jonas and I have done it before. Okay. I ran $1 billion private equity fund for 10 years successfully. Jonas has run his company for a long time, and you heard recovered $4 billion of assets, right? Running the business, right? Taking money that we are entrusted with and making more money on it, right? That's the easy part, right? Your viewers, anybody who trusts us with their money can know that we're gonna do that, right? So that's number one. The who, you can do it for a penny, okay? You can buy a W Liti for 1 penny, right? That's how we're setting the price of it. But that's not all that we're doing. And I think that, you kind of are getting to this. What are we giving back to the community? And Jonas and I both feel really strongly about this. And I think that, for us, the most important part of this project is 10% of every dollar we raise is going to be used to go after people who commit frauds and scams in our community. Okay. So let's put a number around that. Let's say that investors entrusted us with $1 billion, okay, $1 billion market cap. That would mean that we would have $100 million, all right, that we would use not to generate profit, okay? That is money that we are going to use where all we are going to get is our expenses and overhead back, and every dollar earned for that is going to go back to the people who were scammed, okay? And if you're a W Liti holder, you can bring a case or a situation for us. We're going to put a team on it. We're going to figure out which of those cases are the best cases to actually bring a claim. And then we're going to put it out. And our holders in our community are going to vote on which case or cases they think we should go after. And those are the cases that we're going to go after. And it's not going to cost a penny to anyone in our community. There's no risk to you. If it fails, there's no cost to you. It is simply a service, okay, that we are providing the community because it is the right thing to do. It's enough. These guys you're not alone, right? I'm sure most of your viewers, people are getting scammed all over the place. And this community, in order to step forward and be what it needs to be, there has to be some consequences for these guys. And we have a dual role. Number one is you invest your money with us, right? We're going to treat it as fiduciaries. We're going to generate returns. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to use 10% of that to make this a better, safer community. And we're going to get some of these guys for sure.
Yeah. I think in addition to what David's been saying, the entirety of our project is, I think accelerating blockchain and DeFi to the next level. We need blockchain and DeFi, they need real life use projects, that what they are projects, not just ideas, they need to be tangible activities that are going on right now. Already we have perhaps to have 3 cases very soon in our portfolios. We already have assets right now, even before we are on Uniswap and even before people can buy the token. So we're already active. It's not just a project that we hope is going to perhaps realize in 6 to 9 months. And then the entire community needs to grow up as well, in the sense that there needs to be accountability for people that scam people. There needs to be consequences for thieves. And most people, they don't want to go to the police or to lawyers because this costs a lot of money, and plus, I'm not sure if my local police in Switzerland will be competent to investigate, a crypto scam that is happening between Singapore, Hong Kong, and Cayman Island. To be honest, it's a bit, with all the respect I have for the Swiss police force, I think it's a bit out of their depth, and they haven't perhaps catched up with the way that criminals can steal money. But we have, we know the tool that they're using because we are active in that space. We know the tricks left and right. And if we combine that with, the traditional investigative capabilities that we have, we'll be able to bring some more order in the house for the benefits of the greater good and the community as such.
But can we talk about that for a second? I mean, can we give an example, right? Like let's say that you got scammed. Pick a number, right? What's the worst that you would think that you would get scammed?
Personally, last one I've gotten scammed, it was about $5,000. It wasn't that
$5,000.
much.
All right. Let's call it 150 grand. All right. Let's multiply it by 30. Like $150,000 is gone. Right.
Which is multiple people, right? Like it's me times a bunch of people.
Totally. Okay. Let's say that money's gone. Right. Now let's say you know who the guy is. Right. What do? Governments, there's no real plan because of what Jonas said. They're cross-border. There's really nothing to do. What do? You're going to hire a lawyer? How much is the lawyer going to cost you? I'll tell you, a chunk of money, right? Asset tracers, not cheap, right? You will spend the $150,000 at least to get the money back, right? And that's why, one of the reasons why these guys get away with it, right? There's nobody who's incentivized to go after and get these guys. It's too hard because they're in different jurisdictions. It's too expensive and it doesn't work, right? So who's going to step in? That's why this is free, okay? That's why this 10% is free. It's because the only person who can make a difference, who can try and make a difference in this, is somebody who's not in it for the money, right? You got to be in it because it's the right thing to do, and you got to have the expertise to be able to do a lot of it in-house, right? And so that's the problem that we're trying to solve. I mean, that's what drives us. Right. I mean, Jonas, like that's what, when you and me, we talk on the phone at ridiculous hours, right? Because ridiculous hours. And, this is what drives us, right? I mean, is that fair?
Yeah, totally. It's, there needs to be something to be done, and so far we have seen no one that decided to take matter in their own hands, and partially because they didn't really understood what was possible of doing, and partially because they didn't have any motivation. And for us, it's a great way to do the right thing and to engage with the community as well, and to put into practice the skills that we have in litigation finance, in investigations, and it's just a natural extension of our project, right? Because what we do with all the investment that we do, we do exactly the same thing. On for-profit cases and claims, we just decided that we need to do it as well for the people that are supporting us as well. On the blockchain and on the DeFi space. And that translates into helping them to solve their own problem, helping them to recover funds, and helping them to get justice, because sometimes it's not going to be always possible to recover money. Sometimes it gets spent, just as is, right? But if at least we can bring justice, we can bring accountability to the people that have done this, I think, it would be a success.
It's really exciting to hear that somebody's doing something for the people that can't fend for themselves. I mean, this is what we need more in this space. I know that June 24th is the date that you have your token launching on Uniswap. Now, we're about halfway through the year. What can we expect from Liti Capital over the next, let's say, 6 months until the year ends? What are some of the goals? What are some of the things that you guys expect to accomplish till the end of the year?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, Jonas, I can do kind of the more administrative stuff and leave you the fun stuff if you want. The capitalist. Yeah, sure. So he loves calling me the capitalist. It makes him so happy. So look, a couple different things, right? I think, number one is we've raised $12 million to date, right? Ideally, we'd like to be at 25 by the end of the year, 25 to 50, right? Which will give us $2.5 to $5 million at least to go after these guys, right? We have a $1.2 million liquidity pool that's set up, that's locked up for 3 years, okay? Because safety, comfort in the community, right, is what we want. And the other goal, so the goal is to create enough assets in that box, right, and enough safety in that box to make sure that we have 10,000 unique holders, okay, 5 to 7 cases with asset values in excess of $100 million, okay? And, what we'd really like to do, and I want to make sure that you guys understand this, the founders are selling zero in this, right? I want to just be very clear. We're lucky enough that we can do this for the right reasons. There's no stock or tokens being sold by the founders, okay? The dollars that we raise are being used in the business to buy assets to back the tokens. Okay. So I want to make sure that people understand this, right? That is the grand totality of it. So when you hear that we've raised money, you guys should be like, because that means we have more cases, which means the tokens are backed by assets, right? And it means we have more money to go after these guys. It doesn't mean that we're lining our pockets, right? That's not happening here, right? We are looking to build a long-term business. We are not looking for 10 or 20x on the launch, okay? There's assets here. And I know I'm waxing theoretical, but this is also really important to me. If Bitcoin goes down to $20, okay, the 3 cases that we have in our portfolio are still worth $150 million, okay? If Bitcoin goes up to 500,000, right, the assets in our portfolio are still worth $150 million, right? This is different. This is not a currency, right? This is a company with real assets. And our goal is to build that base over the next, 6 months and build people's trust by showing them who we are and doing the right thing over and over, day in and day out to build community.
And that's amazing that you're saying we, and you actually mean we, because you're not saying, well, we're going to tokenize this and we're going to take 20% for the founders' rewards. Like, that's normally how, a coin works. When you set something up, you allocate a chunk of it to people that you want to benefit from it. It's not only the miners or investors. It's really, founders get 20% or 25%. This is unheard of in the space, where when you say we, you actually mean we, the people who are backing this. So this is really exciting to hear. But Jonas, tell us the fun stuff.
But just one thing just before that. So I just to make sure that we're on the same page. So the founders will get 20% of the profits. Okay. But which is when profits come out, but we are not selling tokens. We make money when you make money. We don't make money we make money when we bring in money from third parties. We do not make money by selling stuff to you investors.
Which is how most people do it. That's how they're,
right. Yeah, exactly.
I think, to be fair, I have 4 tokens because I had to buy them on the testnet the other day to see if the payment processing system would work. So full disclosure, I do have some, but it was just because we needed to test that everything was ready for the launch, right? And we will get, there is an incentive plan, full disclosure for the management team. But the incentive plan is based on the real assets of what David was talking about. So if we solve cases, if we bring more cases, if we hit some fundraising goal, we will get a management incentive, a sort of bonus paid to the executive team, and the bonus might include some token, but they will totally be vested for a period of time, so that we cannot just cash out. And as David said, we have a 3 years, $1.2 million liquidity pool on Uniswap for the launch. That means that, and the liquidity pool is fully supported by the current investors. So they're not going to sell because they will just be changing, money from pocket 1 to pocket 2. They're in for the long term. And, this long-term commitment, I think it has to do with the type of assets that we bring. Litigations are long-term assets. They can take between 2, 3, 4, 5 years until we have a positive outcome, whether it's a settlement or an arbitral award or a decision in our favor or in favor of the people that we support. It takes time. And for all that time, we're going to be around. So as David said, even if the Bitcoin crash, it doesn't affect our business too much. Sure, it will be bad, but the assets will be totally uncorrelated to that. Same if, let's say, there's another financial crisis tomorrow, we won't be affected by it because our assets are totally not correlated to inflation and GDP growth. They're perfectly independent, and same will be true for the cases that we keep on bringing on into the business. If we bring a case tomorrow, and when the Bitcoin is, if the Bitcoin drops, then it doesn't matter because the case in itself will go on. There will be a process to follow until we recover money. Well, lots of fun stuff. I thought everything was pretty fun, to be honest.
What do you mean? We can do more fun. I'll kick it off. The American will kick it off. It's okay. You can be conservative over there. So in the next month, we are going to both announce our first case against a crypto scammer. And our goal is that before July 4th, Is that fair? Can we say before July 4th, before the US, you know,
Birthday.
Independence Day celebration? We would like to announce that we have successfully concluded our first case against a crypto scammer. I think for me, that would be goal one. Should we go end of July to be safe, or should we push our chips in, Jonas? What do you think?
Just say mid of July, 15th of July.
Middle of July. We'll compromise.
Consensus, exactly. Yeah, the Swiss influence comes in, you know.
That's how we make decisions together. That's how it goes. So by July 15th, we are going to be out to the community, and we are going to have you know, made the first impact, the first of many by then. So I think that would be one short term. And I would like to say that we will have taken on at least another 3 situations by the end of the year. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's a bit conservative even. I would say even a bit more, you know, because down the line, look, if we reach our goal of 25 million raised by the end of the year, these 2.2 to 2.5 million that we can allocate to find crypto scammer, that represents in reality between 10 and 15 cases that we can do with that money, you know, full funding from investigation to asset tracing to legal costs, you know, that it represents that amount of cases. So we'll be definitely busy.
Yeah.
I've ran marketing for multiple law firms. That's a lot of cases, guys. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize that's a lot of cases to take on, especially of this magnitude. If we, you know, as this is, you know, legitimate, this is real. If you're able to do that many cases in this short amount of time, that speaks volumes. And I don't think you're going to have any issue raising the money. And I want to make sure that I show the viewers exactly how to, you know, buy your coin and kind of get invested early on here. So I'll be doing that in a little bit, but it's really exciting to hear what you guys are doing, and not only the plans, but I mean, it sounds like you guys already have something on the hopper that's about to just be put out there, which is really exciting. So we're definitely going to be following up and making sure that we keep, you know, in touch to make sure we follow up and hear exactly what the details are and how this turns out, hopefully badly for the scammer.
Exactly. No, I'll be happy to come back and to tell you the detail of the investigation, you know, once we've completed one. So happy to be talking to you and to your community about this.
Fantastic, Jonas. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate it. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to make sure that the viewers know that maybe I didn't cover that you think is really important for them to understand about the space?
I'm going to do this for my marketing guys because they'll kill me if I don't. Right? Come join us on Telegram. Right? Join us on Twitter, LinkedIn. Liti Capital official is the Telegram. You know, it's a partnership. And the more that people trust us to invest their money and make them a return, the more good we can all do together. So I really appreciate you having us on. It's a real pleasure. We're excited to come back and tell you more as it goes on. And thanks a lot for taking an interest in the project. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, David. Jonas, anything from your end?
Just many thanks to you for having us. You know, it's been good to explain to you what we're doing. I want to insist that what we're doing is not just a plan. It is what we are doing right now. You know, it is live already. Our marketing is a bit behind because we were too focused on the other part of the business until 2 weeks ago. So we decided, all right, we have to do a marketing campaign now. Okay. But that's going to catch up with time, and I think it'll be all right. Because what matters at the end is the intrinsic value of the business, and that part is already figured out.
David and Jonas, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of what Liti is doing right now and the plans for the near future. I'm really excited about what you guys are doing, and I can't wait to see you all succeed and really make scammers think twice before they pull any moves, you know, in this space. What can I say, guys? They're awesome. I believe in them. I personally invested in what they're doing, and it's, you know, again, my humble opinion. I'm telling you what I'm doing, and hopefully you all can see the value that's in this. And I'm just so thankful to have people like them in this space, to see them, you know, people like them make a difference, you know, and an impact in the entire system, because this is what we need more of. We need to build a strong community around, you know, not only the altcoins or, you know, buying this or buying that, but being honest and being truthful and not trying to take advantage of people. And because of what they're doing, I think this is going to be a huge impact to the system, and it's going to make a big difference long term. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit that like button, because it does go a long way to making sure that people are finding the channel and getting more information about cryptocurrencies and the blockchain in general. Again, thank you, and I will see you all on the next one. Take care now.